everybody, and welcome to another episode 55 of Thrashcast. My name's Jim, and I'm here with my two cohorts here. I got Ken and Billy. How are you guys doing this evening?
All good.
Oh, good, sir.
Great, great. We got a real good episode planned here with some overkill. Nothing wrong. Anything with overkill is generally pretty good. So we're going to be doing their 2010 release of Ironbound. So really, really good album. Maybe even a bounce back album to some degree from some of their earlier stuff where they kind of went through like everybody did in the 90s. So little bits of changes or whatnot, but. First, a little bit of housekeeping, just where you can find us. Horror Metal Sounds Thrashcast. Go to YouTube, type in Thrashcast. We should come right up. You can find us at Horror Metal Sounds, KenG.2864. We're also on Spotify, and we're also on Rumble. So make sure you check us out. Leave any sort of comments, good or bad. We want to know if there's any bands any albums you guys want us to cover, any bands you want us to talk about, anything about the format. Like and subscribe. We'd love to. We're always looking to get those subscriptions up and those likes up for sure. And just let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you. What do you guys think? Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. The more the better. The more the merrier, Jim.
That's right. And what are we at for subs right now? We're almost at what? We're at 5,000.
It's 5,810.
Wow, jeez, really good stuff.
Sorry, my apologies. 4,000. It's not quite 5, but 4,110.
Great. So we want to hit these goals that we set for us. So just kidding. Last time we had that big jump, and it was like, yeah, we did it right at the end. But anyways. Right. Yeah, so
by that logic, Jim, you're going to have to set another stretch goal of 25,000.
Yeah.
For August.
Well, the way we're going, I think June.
Yeah, Jim, you had the magic the last time.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have to come up with a new stretch goal. Yes, I'll break into my algorithm and figure it out.
Yes, sir.
So we usually start off these. So we're going to be diving into this album, but before we do that, I want to hear any news on what's for spinning. Ken, why don't you go first?
Sure. So I have a couple of items tonight. I just read that Al Jorgensen spoke to Loudwire, and he said he gave a reason as to why they're quitting the band or why the band is pretty much retiring. He says he wants to give his ears are tired, which I don't know what that means, if that's good or bad, but that's what he said. So I was like, okay, I get it. But I suspect a year, 2 years, he'll be back. It's just these people can't leave this kind of they can't leave. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then, so Alice Cooper just announced that he's releasing a brand new album with the original members of the band.
Yes,
which I'm very excited about. The Revenge of Alice Cooper. So I'm super excited about the original members of the band from the '70s coming back. I'm a huge Cooper fan. I own all his material, so I'm very excited about that.
Ken, what album was the last one that all the original members were on? What was the last time they were?
It would have been Return to Nightmare. I think it was like late '70s.
Yeah.
Like a long late '70s, because the album Yeah he did in the '80s was kind of with a whole new set of people. So far as I know, mid to late '70s. It's been a while. But they've gotten together. He's gotten together with members of the original lineup a few times over the years, though. I think on that Detroit Stories album.
Yes.
Some of those guys came back and played on a couple of the songs. So
that was a great album.
Yeah, I like that album too. That was a really good album.
You got to hand it to Alice Cooper, eh? He is such a hard worker. Besides the fact he tours everywhere, he pops out an album almost every year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah, his voice is not the best. It's okay. You can see that he's aged, of course. I just like his spirit. It's just that he has that kind of spirit where he just got to go out there and do it. The new video is Black Mamba's on YouTube now. So if you want to check it out, you can. Robbie Krieger plays guitar on it, which I was stoked about that because I'm a huge Doors fan. So it's so great to hear Robbie play on that. So
Oh,
it's
that's
pretty
cool.
cool though. I'm looking forward to the album when it comes out. I think it's next month or the month after. Not quite. It's coming out soon.
Wicked.
Totally looking forward to it. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
And then what was the other news I had? Oh yeah, so Voivod is apparently releasing a video game. They got a
Mhm.
Kickstarter up now for it called Voivod the Nuclear Warrior. So it's kind of set in some dystopian future where the world's like all chaotic and twisted. So that sounds pretty cool. I'm kind of curious to see how that will go. Um,
They're big on the
I just saw it
Kickstarter
today.
stuff.
What's that?
No, they're big on the Kickstarter stuff. They seem to use
Yeah.
it a lot.
Yeah. I guess it's probably the way to go these days, though. I would
Mhm.
think for them. I don't know how many people will actually be interested in it. So, but I'm not a gamer. So at the end of the day, I just think it's cool. But
Yeah.
I'm not a gamer, man. I don't play games. I don't find them interesting. I just, I could spend my time doing other things. But some people, I have a lot of friends who love games. They're totally into it, but just not me.
And with
Just not
Voivod,
me.
it's kind of a great fit with all the artwork. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, I'm assuming a lot of the artwork will be done by video game artists, but based on his style.
Yeah.
They didn't really give any of that information out. I just saw it today, so but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty much all I
Awesome.
have for this week.
Cool. Billy, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so I got a couple of cool things, thrash projects.
Oh, nice.
So the first is not a project, but everyone's favorite German Big Four guitarist, Frank Blackfire. He's doing a special 10th anniversary reissue of his solo album, Back on Fire. It's
Oh,
been
nice.
very hard to find, certainly in North America. It's the first time ever on vinyl, and that's out May 30th. So I have it on CD. It's pretty cool stuff. I mean, I can't say it's as good as like a Creator or a Sodom album, but it's interesting.
Mm,
If you like instrumental music, that's worth having.
cool.
Next up is a new, well, there's two sort of thrash supergroups that have been
Mm.
announced, and you can hear their first singles, right? So the first is Nefarious, and so that has the Hyrax vocalist Caden. It has the one of Gary's old Exodus partner Rick Hunolt on guitar. It has Doug Piercy from Heathen on guitar, Will Carroll on drums, the Blind Illusion bassist Tom Gears. The album's called Addicted to Power, out July
Yeah.
18th. And you can hear the new single. I love it.
It's great.
One
Yeah.
Nation Enslaved. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard it?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Love
love
it.
it. Yeah.
And then the other, this I think was just announced today or yesterday, another project called Heaven's Gate.
Oh,
And so they have a new album, Tales from a Blistering Paradise. So it features the singer from Municipal Waste, Tony Foresta on vocals. I don't know the guitar player myself, Mike Goo from a band called Warthog. Jeff
yeah.
Howe on bass. But here's the drumming monster. It has Paul from Cannibal Corpse,
Nice.
Uh-huh.
the drummer.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it comes out on the 18th of April, so it's already out actually. 8 songs. It's only 20 minutes, but I listened to it
Oh,
last night. Pretty damn cool. So picture
okay.
crossover thrash like Municipal Waste, but then throw in about a 30% dose of death metal. So I don't know too many crossover thrash, death metal, punk type
No.
albums. So it's pretty unique. So encourage folks to check that out. And lastly, in the spirit of the three of us being from Canada, this is a big day. I've been waiting for this for a year and a half. Ear Music, which is the German label that Jeff Waters sold his Annihilator catalog.
Mhm.
are finally beginning the reissue campaign
Oh,
on
nice.
June
Nice.
8th. So they just announced the reissues of 1994 King of the Kill,
Oh,
1996 Refresh the Demon, and
mhm.
1997 Remains. So these
Okay.
guys did the entire Savatage catalog, ear music from beginning to end. Everybody loved it. They
Oh,
did an
that was great.
amazing
That was well
job. It's
done.
fantastic. Everything was beautiful, like double vinyl, gatefolds, loaded with extras. So these guys do a good job. So I think, Jim, there might be CDs as well. Like I'm not 100% sure on that, but definitely for vinyl fans, that's out there.
Well, Billy, what I find weird though, why are they starting with the lesser known albums? Like
Well,
those three albums are kind of, yeah, they're all right, but I wouldn't call them classics.
yeah, no, well, actually, King of the Kill is my second favorite
That's a
behind
good
Alice
one.
in Hell,
Yeah,
but that
that's
might
a
be
good one,
just
but the other
me.
two are, yeah,
But the
I don't
issue
know.
is the other three can have been reissued 4,355
Yeah,
times.
I guess
So
that's
you could
probably
get them all. You could walk into even like a local non-metal
right.
shop and find like Alice in Hell there. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah, okay.
focusing on like, that stuff, right? So
Yeah, fair enough, fair
um
enough.
so as a diehard collector, that's what you want. You actually want
Yeah,
to
true, true,
focus on
true.
the stuff that you can't buy.
Yeah.
And then really quick, just in terms of some show and tell,
Oh,
I
nice.
finally got my
Nice book.
copy of the new book here. So Gary Holt's book, A Fabulous Disaster. I'm a couple pages in. I'm enjoying it. It's good. I recommend folks check that out. And then one sort of last item, this amazing set I got. I can't recommend this enough.
Gamma
So
side, yeah.
I've been on a Gamma Side kick from Texas. So this is
Mhm.
their sort of deluxe box set. It's contamination complete. So you actually get the masterpiece, Victims of Science album, but then
Mhm.
you get the demos,
Nice.
a full LP of all the demo versions of the song, and then it's not done yet. You will actually get two new songs. I don't know.
Oh,
Can you
nice.
see that?
Oh
Yep.
yeah, yeah. That's
Two new
cool.
songs that were released, and then you get a DVD with like 89 1990 concerts. So any Gamma Side fan, and I think they're one of the best thrash bands out there. Like in terms, they have a limited output, really one album. But if you want to take it one step forward, this sort of box set's hard to find. But if you could get your hands on it, it's fantastic.
And they're tied into
Wicked.
rigor mortis to some degree too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you
And
go
you know what,
reward
Billy? The Sabotage re-releases, especially on like I got all the ones on CD. Those are fantastic. They're in a cardboard, but the liner notes are so damn good in there. It's a absolute amazing release. They did
Yeah.
all the Sabotage re-releases on CD. I hope they do it with the. Hope they do the CD one for Annihilator because there's a lot that I'm missing. Those hard to find ones, which on eBay and that are going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars because they've been out of print so long. That's going to be
Yeah.
wicked.
And though I
Yeah,
know what reissues you're talking about, Jim, are those ear music though?
I'm not. I'd have to go dig in.
I
I'm
think
not
they're
sure.
not, but I could be wrong. Double check it.
Okay,
That was
cool.
actually before the ear music did their run, but I could be wrong. Take a look.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Uh, what I've got, so I've got a couple of quick news items. The first one is there'll be good news for everybody. Ozzy's working on his cardio, so apparently he's working out on his endurance training. He started out in the gym very slightly, I guess, and they've got a whole team around him trying to get him kind of in somewhat shape for the last Black Sabbath show coming up. So that's kind of neat, I guess. So he's, right now, apparently, I read the interview, I think on Blabbermouth, where they were saying he's been pretty much bedridden for the last couple of years, like getting up
yeah.
and stuff, but just very, very minimal movement after many, many surgeries he's had. So, I mean, hopefully that works out and he can, at least he can be able to enjoy it a lot more if he's at least, at the bare minimum, able to stand up for some of it, I guess, so that would be kind of interesting. So kind of some good news there. And then kind of a really neat release that was released, I think, yesterday or just a couple of days ago. Exodus released the single for the cover, the Scorpions cover for He's a Woman, She's a Man. It's actually really good. I don't know if you guys heard it.
I haven't heard it yet.
Like I read it, I'm so confused, Jim. Like, are the Scorpions singing with Exodus and singing with the Death Angel singer?
Yeah, it's Mark. Yeah, it's Mark from Death Angel singing it with Exodus. So Dukes.
Where do Scorpions fit in? Like, is Claude singing?
No, he's not. No, not at all.
Oh, so it's just a cover of
just
Scorpions.
A cover, yeah.
Oh, okay. I actually thought they were all doing a song together.
No, it sounds really good though. I mean, it's the video, kind of the little cartoony type video thing is up on YouTube, but it sounds really good. Real heavy version of it. So from one of my favorite Scorpion albums, Taken by Force. So, I mean, I love that song. I love that album. So it kind of was a perfect fit. And Mark's voice sounds really good, fronting Exodus there. It's kind of neat. Kind of a cool thing to do. I don't know why this came about. I don't know if it's going on the album or if it's an extra, but it was kind of a cool listen to anyways, but kind of out of the blue.
Maybe a singer switch in Exodus.
Well, yeah, I know. And I think they picked Mark because I read that he was the most like Klaus. He was the most sounding, so he was the closest they could get to a Scorpions kind of sound. So I think, I think it's probably got something to do with the fact that you've got Dukes and Zetro just left, or Zetro was fired, and you got Dukes coming in. I don't know where they're at, so it's kind of an interesting, kind of a weird thing, but it's definitely a really cool. I hate covers, but I actually really like this one. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
You know what's funny though, Jim? Zetro just said that he's pretty much endorsing Dukes. He's telling everyone to
really?
Give him a chance, listen to the music. He's a really down to earth guy, from what I'm hearing. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
And there was an interview.
Actually decent friends, right? Like,
yes.
I mean, for folks who watch Zetro's Toxic, what's it called? Toxic Cast or
Toxic Vault.
Oh, Toxic Vault. Yeah. Like he did an amazing 2 episode where he interviewed Dukes when Dukes was the singer for Exodus.
Yeah.
And like they got along like perfectly. Like they were great together. So that makes sense that he would.
He's a really stand-up guy, Billy. I was like, well, that's great that he's actually endorsing his replacement. He's telling fans just buy it and listen to it and give the guy a chance. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
No, that's really classy. I think that's a classy move.
Yeah.
And what am I spinning? What did I pick up this week? Well, I got picked up a kind of a death metal classic here, but it's a re-release. So I picked up Dismember's Death Metal.
Nice.
Got a crack in it there. So it's so deathy that it's broken. But what I really like about this, and what I love about these, this is how you do a re-release. So you've got the actual album, and then they did the, what is it called here? The Misanthropic EP is part of it. So there's an EP that was released, I think, the same year, which would have been, I believe, 97 or 95. This one's the re-release of 2023. And then it has an even extra track on it, Hill 112 from the compilation, Death is Just the Beginning, Part 4. So it's really, really cool. Like this was like for like $15. This is one hell of a great re-release, and you get the extra bonus of the EP.
Cool.
Kick-ass album. I love it. I also got this, which is really cool. It's another Warlord early release, and again, this is High Roller Records. What I love about, you pay a little bit more for the High Roller Records stuff, but boy, it comes in a really attractive sleeve, and then the original album's in here. The Holy Empire. So what I love about this is CD1 is the actual original album. So that's really cool to have it back in print. I think this is a 2024 edition. I can't find a date right on it, and then CD2 is a mix of rarities and demos. And there's a lot of stuff there with like Giles Lavery singing on it and stuff like that. Just really, really cool. But they do one hell of, and there's a lot of liner notes in it. They do a really good job with it. 2 CDs. I got to admit, the re-releases on this Warlord stuff from High Roller Records, definitely worth it. And just for a fan, it's just so cool to have this stuff, because the original stuff is just getting so expensive to get your hands on. So that was kind of cool. And last but not least, my copy of Warfield showed up last week
Awesome.
with the old breed. Holy
Yeah.
cow. And
Great
this
album.
is another really, this was Napalm Records. And I got it, I think, on release day. I think it showed up on release day. I ordered it months ago. But it's got a really cool, like, sleeve inside it that you can see there with the book and that. Just really cool. Cool photo op of the band on the back, which is really neat. And I mean, this is just a thrash metal. What a great band. And I think, Billy, you got me into these guys. You talked about one of their singles there, or did you see them?
Yeah, I saw them at 70K Tons of Metal.
Yeah,
that's where they kind of broke out in North America back in late February.
And Ken, every time I look at this artwork, I think of you.
Yeah, it's great. I love that cover.
Isn't it amazing? It's so cool. So anyways,
really good.
Maybe we'll end up doing a show on these guys, because they're kind of the it thing right now in the world of thrash. They're just so cool.
And we have a review on Thrashcast of that.
That's right. Yes, Billy did a review on the album.
We did a review.
Kind of ties in together. So perfect. Great. That's all I've got, guys.
Cool. I still can't find that, Jim, on vinyl here.
No,
located in Canada. We're not getting any. It's really hard to come across vinyl. All my friends in the States got it. They were able to order it from Amazon, but
really,
no luck here yet.
So it's not available on Amazon in Canada?
No.
Oh,
well, that's so weird.
Because that's one I would like to have. The artwork is so friggin' intricate. It's so cool. It's what a killer album. I mean, these guys just thrash the hell out of it. I love it. It's amazing. So really, really good album. Definitely look at checking them out for sure. But yeah, Billy, you got me into them. Yeah, you saw them on 70,000 Tons. That was cool. As soon as you did that, I think during the show, I was writing it down and got off, and then I think they had 2 singles at that point off this album. So really, really good. Check out Billy's review on Thrashcast.
Yeah,
awesome stuff.
Yep.
So we're going to get started right into the album, but before that, we have a couple of questions. But first, we're talking about I'm not going to go into a big overview. We've done 2 other Overkill albums, which we've already tackled. This one is a little bit more recent, so we kind of wanted to put an interesting spin on this episode, because it was released in January 29th of 2010. So for our end of the show, what we're going to do is we're going to rank the 6 albums, including this, from 2010 to most recently 2023. So kind of go back to a little bit of a ranking, but more of a modern Overkill, which I think is some of their best stuff in a ranking that we're going to do. But just to give you a brief breakdown before we get into some of the questions, this is kind of a bit of a long album, 50 minutes. I mean, that's pretty long. A lot of the songs are well over 5 minutes. This was the first album in 2010 since Immortalis, which was, this is their first release on their new record label of Nuclear Blast. So that's pretty cool. I've been picking up some of their recent back catalog whenever there's a deal. Billy got me into, much to the chagrin of my wife, who every time there's a deal at Nuclear Blast, I'm there loading up, because the more you buy, the cheaper shipping you get. So it just makes perfect sense.
Tell her you're saving money. Like you're being responsible.
Exactly. So, but what a really good section of albums for sure. But one of the questions, actually, Billy came up with a really good question. I want to start with his question first, since it's probably the most relevant to actually how Overkill is going to continue. So, Billy, ask your first question first. And Billy, you go ahead and ask it, and you go ahead and answer it, and then me and Ken will.
Yeah, and just to your point though, before we go there, you're right. That's a 50-minute album, Ironbound. But
Yeah.
pretty much everything after Ironbound is 50
Yes.
to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's been
Yeah.
kind of the norm. But anyways, yeah, my question was, I guess, and this stems from me being able to see Overkill quite a few times over the last year and a half. And if folks don't know, I'm sure many do, but Dee Dee Verney, who's like, lead songwriter along with Bobby of the songs, and he does the backing vocals, the bass player. Well, he's had surgery on both arms, and he's just really struggling to be out there touring. And I've seen him many times with them, and now a few times without. And I find his absence is really big in the band.
Okay.
Like his backing vocals, like it's missed. The way he's very active on stage, that's missed. They've had great bass players. Like obviously someone can come in and play his music. Like there's no concern there. But not all could do the backing vocals the way he does. But
Mhm.
anyway, long story short, I guess my question is, if he had to step away, do we think Overkill is still Overkill? Because he's one of the two like main guys, him and Bobby, right? Like if Bobby had to step away, I don't know that Overkill would ever be Overkill again. But I don't know. Like I guess my view is, I don't think the live show would ever be the same without him. I've witnessed it. I miss him. So that's too bad. But I guess I still, my view is still keep going, mainly because he can still contribute, excuse me, to
Writing.
songwriting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, so let him keep going, let him do the songwriting, but maybe it means he can't tour anymore, which is really sad and disappointing. But I guess I'd still rather see the band live than have them quit. But it's never going to be the same, like seeing them live without Dee Dee. So I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Ken,
Well,
what's your thoughts?
well, yeah. I mean, it won't be the same, but I think we're gonna have to start getting to this point where we have to accept the fact that everyone's getting older, man. It's just a fact of life. It's not one you want to hear
Mhm.
for sure, but if the guy can't do it, the guy can't do it.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like
Yeah.
maybe he can still contribute to the songwriting, and maybe he can also still record in the studio, but maybe not going on the tour
Yeah.
anymore. I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, Billy. It would suck if that happens, but what can you do? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just. I mean, I know, like Blitz had the stroke and he came back, and that's
Mhm.
great. And he sounds better than ever. But maybe in this case, when both your arms are going, man, that's a bummer. Like
Yeah.
that's a major bummer for a guitar player. But
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope not, though.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys. I mean, I want them to obviously keep going, but I
Yeah,
mean, like you hit it on the head, Ken, when like we see it with Iron Maiden where they've got a new drummer in now, and even
yeah,
though Nico's going to be taking part in some things in some way,
yeah.
you know, he doesn't want to tour anymore. I mean, he's had a whole health issues as well. I mean,
Yep.
our heroes from the 70s and now the 80s and stretching into the 90s, and things are starting to unfortunately take that turn where, but I mean, some of these bands like Overkill to me is an institution to some
Yeah.
degree. I mean, I don't know, like if Bobby was to leave, how would they go on with a singer? Like
The,
he
the,
is
I'm
the
such a,
done.
band
If
would
Bobby
suck.
leaves, then I'm done. Like it can't
yeah,
Yeah,
like
well,
continue.
you
I
can't, it's
think
not
they're
like
done,
the,
Billy, if that happens.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
it's not like an Exodus situation where you kind of rotate,
Yeah.
between Zetro and Dukes a little bit. But like this just kind of, it's just like, holy cow. Like, and you start to think about it and it kind of really starts to get you kind of pissed off and worried because, I mean, I've been listening to Overkill, for instance, for so long. Like I don't want things, being a metalhead, we don't want change. We don't want things to change. We want it to keep going and improving and that sort of thing. But I mean, it's just a fact of life, I guess we're going to have to deal with. But I think for the time being, if he can still songwrite and maybe even take part in a very small way, like maybe a guest on some shows or something, just kind of like what they've did with Tipton from Judas Priest
Yeah,
there
yeah,
in a very
yeah.
limited way. I mean, but you're right. If your arms are not functionable in that sense, God, a 2 hour Overkill show or an hour 45 minute Overkill show, like I've seen footage. I mean, you guys have seen them live. That's just a ball of energy show, and you know it
Yeah.
definitely. I agree with what Billy says. It's missing something there for sure.
And
So,
I
but
guess
Yeah.
for him, it's not he seems to be okay. He says to do one or two. But as
yeah,
we know, you go out on the road and overkill our road warriors. It's when you're doing that like 14th and 15th and 25th show in
yeah,
like 28 days. That's where it gets tough.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
So,
good
but yeah,
points. But
Ken's
I mean,
right. I mean, the people are getting older, right? So,
yeah,
at some
We don't
point,
want to. We don't want to hear that. Obviously, as a fan,
no,
but it's just the realities of life.
yeah.
It's unfortunately.
yeah. And the thing is, like even in like so many distinctive metal thrash voices, like with Blitz, and then you even have, I mean, let's be honest, if something happened to Dave Mustaine, Megadeth would be over. He's Dave. It is Mega Dave. It's Megadeth.
Very
It's
much,
Dave
yeah.
Mustaine. He's the voice, and he is the sole member of Megadeth that's been there right from the start. So
And even he had issues back in
yes,
early
Yeah,
two
yeah.
thousands when it wasn't sure with his wrist or his hands if he was ever going to be playing music again. So
exactly.
I almost
crazy.
wonder. I mean, this is yeah, we're getting off topic, but like, or I'm getting off topic, but Priest, like,
Yeah,
if something happened to Halford, like, when they replaced him last time, it didn't go that well. Like,
no,
would that be the
No,
end, right? Like, there's so many. Like,
I think
I
it
mean,
would
would
be.
Maiden do another round without Bruce if he left? And
No.
like, I don't think so, right? I think they're all getting to the point where like somebody goes, and that's likely the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Motorhead. I mean, we're a little bit different of a level of success to some degree, but Motorhead's the kind of the granddaddies of new
Yeah.
wave of British heavy metal to some degree. Lemmy unfortunately passed, and I mean, and they were chucking out albums almost every year and a
But
half,
he
2 years.
but Jim, he was playing when he was sick, even.
That's
Like
true.
the
Yeah.
guy's a trooper.
Oh yeah.
The guy dies in a bar at a bar stool. Was he playing pinball or something? And passes away while he's out. What does that tell you, man?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
jeez,
Yeah.
crazy.
But they've been toying with the idea of doing something. But what I like what they're doing with at least Motorhead is they're re-releasing with a lot of extra footage, like
Yeah,
stuff like the last album. What was it? A Perfect Day, Another Perfect Day,
that's right.
with the lineup change, and then they had, they had a lot of unreleased live shows. And I know for Record Store Days over the last, oh my God, so many years, they keep releasing more and more stuff that they just have so much extra stuff. I think that's what,
Mhm.
unfortunately, how things are going to kind of go.
Yeah, those are called the lost tapes. They're on
Yes.
lost tapes number 6, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy. But moving through the questions here, Ken, what's your thoughts on Overkill's catalog from this point to now? Like, what's your if we break Overkill into maybe a little bit of three catalogs? One would be the original, obviously. Then there's kind of from the mid '90s to the 2010s, like to the 20, I think it would be 2007, the album before this, and then this kind of portion where they're leading into their last release, which was in 2023, Scorched. What's your thought of the momentum and the product they're putting out?
It's mixed for me. Like
Yeah.
the albums aren't bad. They're all good in certain ways. But the one thing I'll say about Overkill is that you know what you're getting from album to album, so there isn't a lot of variation. Sort of like how Modern Destruction is. It's the same. It's like
Good point.
Creator, same with them. Like you start putting out albums consistently every few years, but they don't change all that much. I mean, the one thing that's consistent for me is the guitars are great. They have a really good lineup. The vocals are really good. I mean, Blitz is good on every album, but there's not a lot of highs and it's like it's all. I'm not saying meh, but it's all even. Like there's not a couple albums I really like, but out of those 6 albums, I think they're all right. They're interesting, but I can't tell you like I go back and want to hear them all again and again and again. Ironbound's the only exceptions when I like out of the modern catalog, but they're all kind of in the same vein.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not trying to crap on them. I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on them because I actually like the albums as well. I
Mhm.
just find it's sort of in the middle. There's albums are good, but there's nothing that I'm going, wow, this is amazing. It's just it's overkill being overkill. If
Mhm.
that sounds correct to most people, I don't know.
Yeah. Bill, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I kind of I would agree with what Ken said. I don't think there's a terrible album
Right.
Yeah.
out of these items, and I don't want to give away my ranking, so I'm not going to speak to the albums. But I personally think so. There's six that we're talking about. I
Okay.
think three are fantastic. I love
Hmm.
three. I think
Okay.
there's one good one, and then I think there's two average ones where
Mhm.
like Ken, it started to get a bit samey and I don't know about stale, but it was following the formula. And the one thing, and we mentioned it earlier, all these albums are like 50 to 60 minutes. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, so they're also long, so they can feel like a little, if you're not as into it, the lengthy, amount of songs can weigh on you there. But again, like given the entire catalog, amazing band. And if I get three fantastic out of six when we're at, 30, 40 years later, I'm happy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
just going to say, like, even though those two albums, I have two that I don't think are the greatest. They're not my favorite. The band's still a 15 out of 10 live on every one of these tours, including
Cool.
like the last show I saw a few months ago. So yeah, like even though the albums may wane, the live performance, X, I'd prefer DD to be there for all the shows. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're still like a 15 out of 10 in terms of their live performance. So I can live with a 1 or 2 week albums.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way as you guys, although I think, like, and I'm not going to try to give away, it would be my top three of the six would be their latest album, Scorched. I really liked it. And I mean, I thought it was really cool that they released it on the same day as the new Metallica album, and I
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
it better. And I mean, and I thought, anybody else probably like a record would probably say, let's switch it to the week before or something, try to get some extra mileage out of it. But no, they just went ahead and did it and stand on their own. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, from 2010 on, I think I agree with a mix of both of you guys. I think there's some really good ones that might even make my top five out of their whole catalog, and then there's the one that number six would be one that I'm not as that I care for the least, and I
Mhm.
probably is going to be probably the same one we all have in there possibly. So, but anyways, yeah, I agree, kind of definitely the same thing. And the only good thing about it is it's like it's consistent, very
Yep.
consistent, and I think being that old and being that long in the industry for it, and consistency definitely goes a long way. So anyways, Bill, what do you think? Overkill's background is very identifiably punk influenced. I mean, they started out pretty much as a punk band. What do you think this still holds up? Like, do you still hear a lot of that in their most recent releases?
Yeah, I mean, not to the extent you did in the old days, right? Like, so, like like you go back to the very first two albums in
Mm-hmm.
particular, "Feel the Fire," "Taking Over," like, those kind of albums tend to have more of it. But as the band progressed, like I think you saw less of it. But they would always bring it back intentionally as part of their songwriting. So it was never fully abandoned, but like in the last six albums, you're going to see less of it
Mm-hmm.
than you did in the early days. That makes sense. And I think the biggest issue is like the band has progressed so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from a musical perspective, the band is tight, it's precise, like the riffs are more technical, and that all kind of contrasts with the free, loose playing style of punk. Uh,
True.
So in a way, they've become so good at what they do, they've kind of outplayed their punk days. But like I said, they'll bring it back in certain songs and certain parts when they intentionally want to do it. But it's definitely not to the same degree today as it was back in the early days.
And Ken, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree, Billy. I don't really hear it much on the albums now. Your earlier albums, sure, especially the first few,
Yeah.
Feel the Fire. Like, okay, yeah, they're really got that attitude and they're all into it. But over the years, no, I don't hear it as much. Maybe like what Billy said, a song or two, or you might hear a little element here or there, but
Mm-hmm.
no, not a lot. Not a lot. I think they've settled into a certain range now that they have like a really good guitar tandem for
Mm-hmm.
more than a decade and what decade and a half now, close
Yeah.
to. So I mean, like, yeah, no, I don't think I really relate much of that punk style to the current sound.
Cool. Ken, so what's your thought of the album artwork on this album? And I think we might have asked this question before, but I wanted to just revisit it. What's your favorite Overkill artwork?
Okay, so we'll talk about the new side. I think it's more important to talk about where they're at now. But
Yeah.
the classic one, Under the Influence, is my favorite
Ah,
cover.
wicked.
Now it's funny. I posted on the community notes on
I
our
saw
YouTube
that.
channel, and I got a lot of interesting comments. Some people were saying it was too comic booky, and maybe that's the reason why I like it. I don't know. I like it. It's playful. It's energetic. But yeah, the comments were all over the map. Some people thought it was silly. Some people thought it was like bitching. It was funny. The several comments I was reading, I'm like, okay, I guess there's mixed reactions to it, but
Mm-hmm.
I like that cover. It's always been one of my favorites. I think for me, it's probably because it's the first album I really got into. I bought it. I bought it on cassette, and I love the cover. And I guess that's where my appeal comes to that. But the modern aesthetic, it's been interesting. Their last six albums, right? 6 or 7 albums have been done by Travis Smith. And Travis is like, without a doubt, like the warrior when it comes to metal album cover art. Now, he's not a traditional artist, so he doesn't really paint. It's all digital composition. So
Mm-hmm.
he'll use photographs and then he'll digitally manipulate it to come up with his piece. But I know he has started some use of like painting styles like acrylics and stuff like that in his work. So but he's got an incredible, like his resume is incredible. Like you couldn't go on the wiki page and look what he's done, but just as a small sample, Nevermore, Flotsam and Jetsam, Opus, Soilwork, King Diamond, Death, Skin Lab,
Yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold, like the list goes on and on and on. So like he's a warrior since like 2014, but he's been working with this band pretty much. I think he did Relics or the Relics one,
Mm-hmm.
and then he disappeared, but came back when they did Ironbound. So he's a cover artist pretty much. Like he pretty much is their cover artist going forward. But
Cool.
I don't mind his work. His work's okay. Not 100% sold on everything he's done, but I think for the what he's doing with Overkill, it works.
Did you like Ironbound, Ken, the cover?
Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's pretty cool. I don't mind it. My only one complaint, Billy, is that all the images are kind of standard on the albums. This is where I'm getting back to I
Mm-hmm.
like Overkill, but I find it standard. Like they don't do anything daring or different. It's all the same approach throughout. But
Yeah,
I like the
there's
cover. I'm okay with it.
yeah.
Yeah. What about what's your thoughts, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the art. I don't have the artist background that Ken does, but yeah, I kind of like the Ironbound album cover. And one thing, like I pulled out all the albums to do the top six, and it turns out I only have 5 of these 6. I'm missing Ironbound on
Oh,
vinyl. I can't believe it. I have it on CD, but so that's why I'm not showing Ironbound. But I don't mind Ironbound. It kind of gives
yeah.
me like a dark like reboot Batman type of a thing.
Yeah.
Like the album's so dark and it looks like a bit more like evil and
Mm-hmm.
like like Ken, like I know a lot of people like Under the Influence, but I was a bit of the type that was I thought the early stuff was too cartoonish and even
Mm-hmm.
my favorite Overkill album by a mile, Years of Decay, I even
Right.
find that album cover a bit cartoonish.
Oh, I love
Although
it.
I know many people love it and it's
Yeah, I
my
like that
favorite
cover too.
album, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like the Ironbound, and I would agree with you, Ken. Like all, like I have all the albums here, and they all have a very similar look. I kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like them, but
Yeah.
I'll kind of go to like in terms of one of my favorite.
Scorched.
I'm
Yeah.
actually going to go to the latest. I really like
Yeah.
Yeah.
this
That's a
album
good one.
cover.
Yeah.
But it's not that different from the Wings of War.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
White
Yeah.
not
Devil,
that different from, Electric
Electric
Age. And
Age.
so they're all
Yeah.
similar. So you're
They're all
right,
very
Ken,
similar.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's almost a kind of a darker carbon copy of White Devil Armory. So you've
Yeah.
got, you
Yeah,
know,
well, that's another one. Yeah.
yeah, you've got the albums that look almost exactly the same. But I like it. I think it's pretty cool. But I also like the original artwork too. I mean, I even liked them all on the cover of Taking Over with their guns. I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of funky and cool. Kind of looked like a mix between a punk, I don't know, Mad Max kind of scenario type deal. So that was kind of cool. But anyways, cool. And last, and I think we talked about this before, but I'm just going to throw it in there. Where do you guys, Bill, where do you rank like Blitz's voice in amongst like, even the big four guys? Like what's your thoughts of where you would rank, not necessarily rank in position, but like, I mean, we've talked about how it's very identifiable. Where would you put it in there? Like, do you rank it pretty high definitely in the thrash movement?
Yeah, I mean, I love it, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I'm not a vocalist. I'm not a vocalist coach, but like I'm sure he's not like the most technical singer there is. But I don't care. Like I love his voice. It's 100% overkill. He's got that Bobby Blitz snarl, but he could
Mm-hmm.
also get into like a much higher screeching level. Like whereas Dave Mustaine has the snarl, like I personally think Bobby's got a bit more range than like a Dave Mustaine does.
Yeah.
Like for me, I think him and Chuck Billy are two of like
Yep.
the best, and Chuck might be technically a better singer, but I think they're both amazing. I think they've had incredibly long careers. They sound as good on the latest album as they did. Well, they probably sound better on the latest album than each of their debut albums, I would say. And then when it comes to being a frontman and singing, I mean, Bobby sounds fantastic live.
Mm-hmm.
As good today as I saw him back in the 80s. He's fantastic. The man runs around more than anybody else on stage. Chuck, he walks around. You've got Blitz. He's like always going to the back of the stage, waiting for that last couple seconds for his vocal line to start, and he comes running around the corner and back to his mic to sing. So he's interesting to watch. And so when you combine like his performance and his voice and the fact of where he still is today, he's right up there for me.
Cool. And Ken, what's your thoughts on his distinctive sound?
Yeah. I mean, I know we've talked about it before, but like his longevity as a vocalist, and if we're comparing that to the modern albums, he's pretty good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna talk about Ironbound, but he's great on Ironbound, and he's great on most of these albums. His range is pretty unique. He's unique for a singer, I think. He's
Yeah.
got his own voice, his own style, his own inflection, and how he acts on stage. And I've seen him live, and he's great. He's great on the live set. And I also admire the fact that he had a stroke,
Mm-hmm.
overcame the stroke, went back out on the road again, and he's still out there doing it. So like you have to admire him for what he's done as a vocalist. And I agree, he is overkill, really.
Yeah.
No offense to Dee Dee, but that voice is so signature sounding that you take that away from Overkill is not Overkill.
Yeah.
So
That's the risk, right? That's like King Diamond continuing without King
right,
Diamond.
right. You're right. Exactly.
You're right. I mean,
Yeah.
same thing with like, you make a good comparison with Testament's, Chuck Billy. I mean, holy shit. Like, you couldn't hear those, like, practice what you preach and that being sung by anybody else. I think that's the mark of a wicked, wicked singer. And I mean, yeah, proficiently, he's probably like, I don't know anything about singing either, other than I know what sounds cool. But I mean, I think the rule breaking and him just doing what he wants to do, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, he just, and especially on this album that we're going to talk about, there's a lot of range on it in some of the songs that is pretty interesting. So,
Yep.
so no, cool discussion, guys. So we're going to jump right into the album. So, Ironbound came out in January 29th, 2010, as I said. This is, I kind of timed it because I was like, holy cow, after re-listening to it a couple times this weekend, I was like, man, some of these songs, I think the first song is like over 7.5, 8 minutes. So it's kind of like, wow, this is a pretty long thrash album at 57 minutes. But yeah, good observation, Billy, that the fact that a lot of the albums in those 6 albums and the newer albums are definitely a lot longer. So it's definitely kind of cool. But we'll start off with the first track, the Green and Black. And Ken, why don't you start off with this one?
Yeah, this is a really good opening song. It's long, but it doesn't feel long though when you're listening to it. And like the Green and Black, it's like a signature song for them because it's like an anthem. The Green and Black refers to them, that the colors that they like on their albums, and so you get that sense with it. It's really good, like really good. The opening is great because it's that slow kind of crawling opening, and then when the riff starts, it's really heavy, it's chuggy, it gets explosive. Blitz is on point with the vocals here. I love the vocals on this song.
Yeah.
He sounds fresh, he sounds invigorated. There's a lot of good tempo changes for me. And yeah, it's a solid 8 minutes. It's a song with a solid 8 minutes. I totally love the song. It's for an opener, it's great.
Wicked. Billy, what's your thoughts on this first song?
Yeah, no, I love the song. Yeah, it's like over 8 minutes, so it's unusual to start with like that, but it's yeah, I think it's fantastic. I will say I personally think they should have put Ironbound first. I
Yeah.
know you don't always have the soundtrack, but or the title track going first, but I think that would have been just slightly more of a banger to open it. But again, that's nitpicking, right? So no big deal there. But yeah, I agree with Ken. I love the sort of melodic, creepy opening led by Dee Dee's bass. And then the track explodes like at about 50 minutes. That's kind of cool. Bobby only actually jumps in kind of around the 2 minute mark. Like,
That's
so
right. Yeah.
we got like a long sort of musical break. I mean, the song has everything. It's got an awesome chorus. I mean, Overkill's known for choruses. They write the best, catchiest, memorable choruses, great backing vocals. I mean, the thumping Dee Dee's all over this album, as he normally is, but he's so prominent in the mix. The massive, chunky riffs. Ken mentioned it. There's a killer tempo change, like at 420. Like a crunching, slower rhythm. It slows the track down, but then it picks right back up again. Yeah, it's really good. Like I think it's a great song. It's an epic song. Like normally you would put something like this more in the middle, or but yeah, but I got no complaints. It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites, and I love at 5:45 that bass line, that really cool bass line that rips into that kick-ass solo. And what I like about it is and that's a good point about the question you posed about Dee Dee. Like, his signature is all over this and so many albums. So like, yeah, you can get somebody to play it, but can you get somebody to play and care about it and promote and and do it the way he does? Because the bass is so prominent in most of these songs. It just blows your mind. I think it's a great track. It's a great way to start the album. I probably would have put it as track 2 as well. I kind of like that. I always like the title tracks, usually in the first, because you're kind of celebrating the actual title of the song if you have a title track. Plus, the title track on this, I think, so 5.5 minutes, so it's a little bit more palpable to get into it. But I again, like you said, that's just nitpicking. I think it's a great way to start, and I have a one beside it, like I do with most of the songs on this album. So, but anyways, Bill, why don't you take us through Ironbound, track 2?
Yeah, so I love Ironbound.
Yeah.
It's my favorite song on the album, and if I was doing a top 10 song list by Overkill, you better believe it'd be on there for sure, right? Just those like addictive, chunky like guitar riffs that fuel this track. It's all over the place. Like it has this great like forward momentum. Like it totally kicks your ass, this song. So there's like everything's great about it, right? Like the drumming is really good. There's some machine, bass drumming in there, some killer fills, lots of great stuff. Classic Blitz doing everything we want Blitz to do in a banger of Overkill song. The chorus is outstanding. I mean, some of the most memorable riff lines I think out of the entire discography. I like sort of at 3 minutes when it goes into that nice slow melodic section, kind of like Master of Puppets did with Metallica. You take a break from this monster track to sort of let it breathe, and so that's really cool. Great guitar, melodic guitar solo, and that's like that chunk of music. That slowdown goes from like 3 to like over 4 minutes, so it's minute long. It's a great combo of pure balls out thrash, but with that like nice, like beautiful section in the middle. Again, that's just the songwriting. And yeah, like the final minute, like shit just totally breaks loose. Blitz has some great screams there in that last minute. Yeah, it's the highlight of the album, I think.
Yeah, I like it. I've got the time signatures down like you. 3:06, the song slows down, goes into a bit of an interlude, and then at 4:20, the song just erupts again and takes off. So it's really cool. No, it's one of my favorites as well. Ken, what's your thoughts on Ironbound?
Yeah, it's a really good song. I mean, I see the merits of why it may actually slot better as the first song on the album because it gets you right into it. Like the guitars are so great. Like at the end of the day, Linsk and Taylor are incredible guitarists. They work well together as a unit, lead and rhythm. So I mean, like you hear it, and that whole middle section of the song is where the guitars really shine, and so much crunch and just Blitz adding on to the whole process with the vocals just makes it a really good song overall. And I like it too because it's all like they're writing about camaraderie, about standing together as a unit. Again, it has some kind of an anthem to it in terms of the lyrics, which I like. So yeah, this technically should be the best song of the album. It's not my favorite song on the album, but it's darn close.
Cool.
I'll just add, I love this song live.
Yeah.
Like those crunching riffs and the heavy sections, like the Overkill lights, they go into strobe mode when they're playing this thing. Like it's just fantastic. It's great to sing along. Like and they always play this now live. Like it's a total staple.
Makes sense.
For me, I like this as much as Elimination because it has that kind of feel. And both of them, they always do the strobe lights in sync with the actual song. So it adds so much to the live performance. Like I love it. Yeah.
Cool. So that Ken, why don't you take us into "Bring Me the Night"?
This song is pretty good too. I mean, it's a bit not standard, but straightforward. But I like it because it's got the fast tempo. It's got the great chorus that they're known for. It pretty much it's steady, kind of a steady Eddie song where it's quick tempo all the way through. You're good. It's a memorable chorus. I like the song. I find that there's a little bit of an Exodus vibe to it, like modern Exodus. I get that kind of feel to it, but I mean, yeah, it's a great song. Oh, it's not bad at all. It's good follow
I
up.
find I get a Metallica vibe for Hit the Lights on some of the
Yeah,
guitar work
yeah.
during the middle part of the song, just the guitar, not the vocals, not anything else, but kind of a, it almost sounds like note for note, almost like a Hit the Lights for Metallica. They're in part of the guitar work. But
Well,
yeah,
you know what? It's obvious to me that when they wrote this album, they had Metallica in mind because
yeah,
I get a lot of Metallica vibes off this album,
absolutely.
just in the structure of it and trying to be bold and I guess going like with Master because Master is kind of it's a classic we know, but I get a lot of Master from this. I hear it here. I think that's one of the reasons why I liked it so much when it first came out. I was like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
because I had not heard this from Overkill in a long time, not this kind of style.
Yeah.
So, but you're right about that. The Metallica vibes for sure.
Bill, what's your thoughts on Bring Me the Night?
Yeah, I like it. I like it because it's very different than the first two, right? So that's
Mhm.
they take some chances on this album.
Mm-hmm.
There's some different stuff. Sure, you get all the thrash bangers, but there's also some interesting directions here. But I get a slightly different feel to this one. Like for me, sort of the chorus melody and the main kind of like guitar groove or the guitar riff is very sort of new wave of the new album type feel to it, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Like the song picks up later, but that sort of main catchy part is very new wave of British heavy metal in my view. But yeah, it's got a great catchy chorus. At 3 minutes, it really speeds up, and Bobby's got a really interesting vocal approach and then that vicious lead that comes in at just past 3 minutes, that's actually the heaviest part of the song. Like it's so cool. This is way more mid-paced and laid
Mm-hmm.
back, this track, compared to the first two songs, but the actual lead itself is like vicious. It's really good. But yeah, I like it. Like not only because it's different, but it has parts of Overkill that we know, but they're also doing something slightly different as well, which is cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Bill, we'll stick with you with the goal is your soul.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, here we got another long one, right?
Yeah.
Like almost 7 minutes. So for me, this track has very much a horoscope era feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of begins with the eerie guitar intro, and that totally gives me the feeling of horoscope type songs. But yeah, the drums and the heavy riffs come in. There's definitely more groove happening here. Again, not that different than kind of what we saw on Horoscope. Bobby's vocal delivery more laid back compared to the pure thrash stuff. And again, for me, that's all okay because it's doing something slightly different here. There's a huge tempo change around 4 minutes. The song just completely slows down. We get some melodic guitar noodling, but then it gets heavy as hell at like 4.5 minutes. And you get a feel of like a skull crusher or a nice day for a funeral type feeling. And then like even like 5.5 minutes, like that heavy, chugging. Like this is a great little piece. It sounds stupid, but it's great songwriting. At 5:28 or 5:27, you're hearing the heavy guitar chugging, and then everybody stops, and you just get that one cymbal hit.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden the song takes off again. Like I totally love that. But yeah, great backing vocals. Like yeah, it's great song. Like I like it.
It almost makes me feel like in this song, you've got an intro, a middle, and it's almost like
Yeah,
three songs in one
yeah.
to some
Mhm.
degree. Yeah, I mean, I really love this song too, and I love the fact that it's that long. And it's really cool on this album where they always have on the really long songs. It sets it up, and that's where definitely I get that horoscope feel, where it's a minute 35 seconds before Bobby even cuts in with his vocals. So they're really, really setting it up. Ken, what's your thoughts on the goal is your soul?
The same as you guys. It's like
Yeah.
a call back to the vintage sound a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're well aware of that, and you get all these lyrics about the ideas of good and evil, the struggle between good and evil, the whole themes of temptation and damnation. So that's kind of what they were sort of like driving towards on Horoscope. So you get that here. It's a good song. Yeah, I think sonically it's good, and I see your point, Jim, about breaking it up into three parts. Yeah, I
Mm.
could see that. The band is all, but the band has always been good doing that. They've always been good at kind of structuring songs where you get a little bit here, a
Yeah.
little bit there, a little bit there, and then and then they tie it all together at the end. So
Yeah.
I sort of see that here. But yeah, I like the song quite a bit.
Cool. Ken, we'll stick with you with Give a Little, track number 5. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, and this is another song I like because it's memorable. It's got the memorable chorus, and it's got that chug. There's a kind of chuggy groove to it all the way through it. And yeah, I like it. I like the fact that like, it's all about the struggles of life, and you're talking about like having some dominance, assert your dominance, and take over and control your life. I kind of like it. It's got a positive message to it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's solid all the way through. Like it, I like that little kind of a 248. There's a menacing slow chug, which I
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, and then the tempo picks up again, and it goes into the guitar solo, which is great. I even like the kind of vocals where Blitz gets almost sounding like Danzig a little bit, like so
Yeah.
he throws a little bit variation here, which helps to give you the song. But the song overall is great. I think it's a really catchy, good song.
And you know what, Ken? I think this song, there's 2 songs on here that I think this has more of an Anthraxy vibe for me.
Yeah. I
And
could see that.
musically, not vocally, musically.
Yeah, I could see that. I could get some of those vibes thrown in there for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I was kind of I thought I bet you Ken's really gonna like this one because I kind of get that feeling, and you're wearing an Anthrax shirt, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bill, what's your thoughts of Give a Little?
Yeah, I like it again, and we're getting a slightly different song
Yep.
again, right? Not cookie
Yeah.
cutter. I mean, this thing's got lots of melody, lots of like vocal harmonies. And it's funny you mentioned that, Ken, like, Bobby's vocal there, like that's at like 350.
Yeah.
I almost always thought it was somebody else in the band singing it because it
Yeah.
doesn't really
Yeah.
like sound like them, right? But
No.
uh and yeah, I had the same thing, right? A 245, like where Dee Dee leads it into this slow crunch and grind with this
Yeah,
bass
that's great.
that transitions right into the killer guitar solo. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's great. Bobby's really using his range here. He's kind of all over the place. The song, but even all that said, I also jotted in my notes at times, particularly the beginning. I do see like a slight hint of a crossover feel. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's what you're pointing to, Jim, with
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Anthrax view. But agree, nothing to do with the vocals. But yeah, another great different song, right? Like it just keeps the album 5 tracks in, and everything's different, right? Nothing's like a duplicate of the other.
Yeah, that's right.
Bill, take us into track 6, Endless War.
Yeah, so I like this. And so again, like, so we've had these different tracks. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is one of my favorites. And so we get much more into a more traditional thrash song here, right? There's some really good aggressive drum work. Lots of what I like about Overkill. It has an 80s Overkill feel
Mm-hmm.
to it. Super catchy chorus. Blitz has some great hooks here. There's like a great aggressive guitar lead at kind of 3.5 minutes. And it even almost sounds like, to my ears, like I hear like some Maiden style riffing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of comes in after that lead work. So I think that's kind of cool. And there's a great like Bobby screams endless war towards the end, which is really good. So yeah, I like this thing. Like, and again, all these songs are over 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So uh this one's almost 6 minutes. So it's just that the band has some room to explore and do some different things. So I appreciate that.
And I think the new wave, I wrote down, it's got a new wave of British heavy metal feel for me
I
in
can
a bit
see
of
it because that's what I
crossover.
meant with the Maiden thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's how the drums and the guitars
Yeah.
and the drums play off each other. It's got that sort of flow that, yeah, Maiden would have. I totally
Yeah.
agree with that. Ken, what's your thoughts on Endless War?
Well, actually, I actually get Sabbath vibes partly
Yeah.
through, and I go back to like when we did Years of Decay, where there was that kind of a Sabbath vibe in some of the music. I get that here. I pick it up, like right after the guitar solo, you start to hear it. It just echoes. It's not like oh we're ripping off Sabbath, but there's a bit of a doomy feel in parts. But I like it. It's a very straightforward thrasher overall.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's super chuggy. It's crunchy. There's lots of really nice tempo changes here, and I like Blitz's vocals on this song as well. But yeah, it's a good song.
Cool. Well, track 7, The Head and Heart. This is my favorite song on the whole album.
Cool.
I gotta be honest, I love the sort of ballady intro. You're wondering, the first time I heard this, I thought, wow, it's going to be a ballad. No ballad here. So as the guitar smashes in and then just kind of fades away, I love it. And then the 49-second mark, when it's sort of lower, Bobby does a really good, I think this shows off his vocal range better than like any other song on this album, and maybe even from this onwards in the next 6 albums. This song really shows off his range. It's a lot more dark. It's a lot more kind of lo-fi. I still hits those highs, but it just shows more of a range with it. And I love the dark feeling of this album. Ken, will stick with you. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like the song too. The opening to me is so Master of Puppets. Just that kind of, right at the beginning, it's like, oh, this sounds like Master, and then they it's interesting. I like the callbacks. I find the album has a lot of callbacks. I think it's done purposely. Yeah. I think they're more than aware of their I guess their place in thrash and thrash history. So for me, I that's one of the reasons why I really like the album, because I was like, oh, this is quite interesting. We never got this before, and it's smart. And and the whole lyrical content about the idea of the head fighting the heart is great. You get the whole idea in the lyrics when they're talking about the head is logic, reason, and control, and then the heart is like all about emotion, passion, and vulnerability. I love that. It's such a great contrast for a song. But yeah, this is a really, really good song as well. It's different, like Billy's been saying, for all these songs. Every song is somewhat of a variation, but with a little bit of a different edge or point of view to it. And this song has it. It's a really good song as well.
And Billy, do you like this song?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to be the outlier. It's hands down my least favorite song.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
I mean, something's got to be, like, I don't hate it. Like, I don't skip it when I play the album. Yeah. So yeah, it just, like, I don't know. For me, it just doesn't click for me. Like, especially up near the beginning. For me, there's like a part where it really sounds industrial, which I don't think kind of works so much for them. And like that Bobby, like that growling thing, it doesn't work so much for me.
Yeah, it's different.
Again, some people might like it, and but yeah, like Bobby's vocals in particular, I find the least interesting here. I don't know, it just doesn't click with me. And I also think very rare for Overkill, this is probably the least interesting chorus that they've written on this album, hands down. Like it's not a memorable chorus, like a not sing along chorus. It's not anthemic chorus. It's kind of dull. But yeah, like I don't hate it. Like something's got to be your least favorite song.
Yeah, of course.
And for me, it would be this one.
Cool. Well, Billy, will continue in track 8, In Vain. What's your thoughts on that? Did they rebound?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, again, like the way the songs are being very different. So this one, then, we come out of the last, this one rips right out of the gate. It's very thrashy. Like, if I'm going to knock it, it's a bit one-dimensional for Overkill. Like I still like it, but this thing just rips. Like you're not, you don't get like you were talking where there's 3 different sections and with all the different tempos. I mean, there's not a lot of them. There is a slower, brief section in the middle that I guess is sort of some relief to the song. But I appreciate just doing a banger like this one, and it has a really cool bass solo. Excuse me, 2.5 minutes, and then that leads into into a great guitar solo section towards the end of the track. So that's kind of my favorite part about it. But yeah, no, I think it's good. It's a great track, and it kind of fits in with the coming out of the previous two songs.
And Ken, your thoughts of In Vain?
Well, you know what? It actually reminds. Tell me if I'm wrong, but doesn't it remind you of Death Amphetamine in parts?
Yeah.
Doesn't it have a little bit of a? You get that kind of that really that crunchy rhythm
Mm-hmm.
that you have in Death Amphetamine. That's exactly what I was saying. It reminded me of that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, as Billy was saying, In Vain, it's a decent song. It's just like a kind of standard thrasher. They don't do anything really overly exciting here, but they don't do anything that I don't not appreciate either. So for me, it's a
Mm-hmm.
song that I don't mind. I mean, it's all about religion. It's about retribution. They're talking about that kind of existential struggle. So it's a decent song. I don't mind it.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think it's okay. It'd be at the back end of the catalog of this song for me, but I mean, it's still, I've got no complaints with it like you guys. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, Billy, I agree. It's kind of one dimensional, not much really exciting going on there. Ken, let's go into track 9, Killing for a Living.
It's my favorite song on the album,
Is
actually.
it?
Yeah, I love it. I love the song. It's so dark. It's like, they're talking about survival. They're talking about like darker aspects of warfare and crime. I love this song. That opening is so kind of Metallica with the chugs,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get that really that main riff that hits hard. I love it. I love the vocal style here. That 240, like his vocals, there's just so great. Like he's just bang on for me. I love the riffs. It's just a really, really good song overall. And then when you get like 4 minutes in, there's kind of a bit of a groovy tempo, but he adds on these screams to really drag the point home. But yeah, I love the song.
Yeah, I do too. It's one of the highlights on the album for me as well.
Yeah.
Billy, what's your thoughts of Killing for a Living?
Yeah, no, I like it, but it is bottom half for me. So maybe I don't like it as much, but I definitely like it more than the other song I mentioned was my least favorite. But yeah, I mean, this again, the intro is very reminiscent of Horoscope, that kind of feel
Mm-hmm.
again, for me. But then it quickly, gets into classic Overkill tempo. Like the only thing that bothers me is I don't like Bobby's vocals again here.
Oh,
Like to
really?
me, like
Okay.
he's singing different. It almost sounds like there's like, is there a vocal effect on there, Ken, or what?
I
I
don't
Like,
think
think.
there
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
what's happening there. The song overall is good. Like it's only the vocal where I have some difficulty with,
Right.
but the chorus is fairly basic, but it's catchy as hell. So that's great. And I agree with you, Ken. Towards the end there, or half to the end, you kind of get some good sort of groove into the song.
Yeah, they throw it in there.
Um, so yeah, it's cool. And again, just some good different songwriting mix. The only thing that doesn't click with me is the vocal approach and some of those effects that are going on there. But otherwise, it's great.
Cool.
Fair enough.
Well, Billy, we're at the end of the album, so Ken started it off. So, what do you think of the last song here, the SRC? What's your thoughts? Did they finish
Ah,
the
no,
album off
it's yeah,
positively?
yeah, no, I love it. Like it's
Yeah.
obviously one of the best songs on the record. It is a great. Maybe they didn't pick the best thing to open, but
Mm-hmm.
they picked
Mm.
one of the best things to close it. So this thing's great. I mean, Bobby's signature snarls all over this thing. For me, maybe the reason why I love it so much is I think this one has a Years of Decay kind of
Yeah.
feel to it, to my ears. But I mean, just the riffs are killer. They're beating the shit out of the drums. It just keeps the song moving forward. Some great mosh sections, and I love that solo at like 2:37. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it just bursts out of the music. Like it kind of surprises me every time. Like it's great timing. This is the one where I think you guys mentioned Exodus once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
I get some Exodus feel to
Yeah.
one or two parts here musically. Um, But yeah, like there's some great shouting of sinking deep towards the end, like Bobby shouting it, and then the backing vocals, that monster guitar solo at 4 minutes. It could be the best on the record. So yeah, great way to end it. I love it. I have no idea what SRC means, but I'm
Oh, I
sure
can
people
tell you.
know.
There you go. Well, Ken, take her away.
It's actually in the lyrics, the subterranean resistance cult.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
They
nice.
say it right in the lyrics, actually, if you look at the lyrics.
Sounds like a club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Ken, don't forget who you're talking to. I don't even look at the lyrics.
That's all right. No worries, no worries. I'm here. I can give
You
you
can
a bit of an
decipher.
education on that. But yeah, what Billy's pretty much said. I mean, it's great. It's a good closer for a song. The riffs are all razor sharp. The guitar solo is great. I love all those chugs. Like this song, breakneck speed. I had written down like a
Yeah.
torrid pacing all the way through. So I guess they found that banger to close it out, and
Yeah.
it's somewhat of a shorter song, which is nice. So they didn't really end it with a long, drawn out 8 or 9 minute song, but I like it. It's another really solid song, and it's a great way to end the album for
Mhm.
me. Great way to end the album.
Dave and Derek do a really good job. We haven't called we spoke to like just the riffs and the leads in general, but yeah, those guys are just a killer pair on this thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
that's the thing about this band, because they've had this solid guitar pairing now for more
Yeah.
than 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it really comes home on this album for me.
Yeah.
Like it really, for whatever reasons, this album they gel really well, and I know that for a fact that there's a lot of callbacks to classic thrash, and they threw
Yeah,
it in.
for sure.
And I remember when this album came out, a lot of people were saying that this is like their comeback album, which I
Yes.
don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because I don't think they have a bad album.
No, me neither.
But I could see where people were saying, maybe because they were identifying this with classic thrash, like especially the comparisons to Master of Puppets. Maybe, I don't know, but these guys are great. Such a great band. The guitars are great all the way through it.
Yeah, I think you guys said it all. What a way to end off an album. Another great ending. 10 songs, almost 58 minutes long, and then you ended off with such a killer song. And I agree. I think the tandem guitar playing, whenever you have a band like Priest had it for so long with Timpton and KK, and Accept had it with 3 guitarists, and you have that attack, and these guys have played together for so long. They just seem to, the fills are just perfect with each other, and they just kind of know exactly what the other one's kind of thinking or doing. I think that just shows off in this song. Yeah, I absolutely love this song. So yeah, good stuff, guys. Killer album. So now what we'll do is we'll find out where this album sits in so to break it down for everybody out there, we decided we wanted to rank Overkill albums from this album, so 2010 all the way to 2023, which would be their last album, Scorch, and all the albums. I'll just list them off in order, this is just order. Ironbound in 2010, The Electric Age in 2012, White Devil Armory in 2014, The Grinding Wheel in 2017, The Wings of War in 2019, and Scorched in 2023. And without fail, it's one every 2 years, except for probably the years COVID was going on. After 2019 to 2023, probably would have had that one out in 2022. But anyways, who wants to go first?
Well, I'll go first.
Ken, the floor is yours.
So, like Billy, I had 3 I like, and then 3 I sort of think are okay.
Yeah. I'm dying to hear it because I want to see where I sit.
My least favorite is White Devil Armory. I think it's all right, but I'm not. To be honest, I can't even tell you there's a song that I really remember, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's all right. I think next for me would be Wings of War. It's kind of okay. Again, I don't know. I find the style a little waning, a little bit. Like you're kind of reached that point where it's like, okay, we get it. We know what you're trying to do here. And that cover, even I don't even like that cover as much.
Yeah.
So this is something about it I don't really care for it. The Grinding Wheel is next. I think it was all right, but again, you can see I don't know, parts of it I didn't mind, parts of it I do. Again, I can't even recall a song that I really, really like on it. But the three that I do like, now I like the Electric Age. I
Hmm.
like that album a lot. I thought that album had a lot of snap to it. It had a lot of good thrash. Solid release. Number two was Scorched. I thought as a comeback album in 2023, it's pretty solid. There's some really
It
good
is.
songs on it. I'm like you, Jim. When I know it came out with 72 seasons, and I agree this is a better album than 72
Yeah.
seasons. Total better. I totally agree with you with that. And it's no secret that my number one choice is Ironbound. It's my
Wicked.
favorite modern era album from the band.
Yeah, my picks are very similar. Billy, how do you rate these guys?
Yeah, mine are very similar, but we have one that couldn't be any more different.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's interesting. Uh, so for me, number six, I'm going Wings of War. So again, not as I said, Overkill never really did a bad album in my opinion,
No.
but I just think and Ken said it, and we've said this on other Overkill podcasts. Like, and I'm gonna just say my number five because I feel kind of similar.
Hmm.
My
Oh, the
five is
grinding
the
man. Yeah.
grinding wheel. I just think the band, what it was starting to sound a bit samey, and these albums are 50 minutes, and they started to feel a bit too long. And so I mean, they all had something I like, so I can't say they're totally negative.
Mm.
I mean, the grinding wheel, like it did have a track. I liked Our Finest Hour on that. It's
Hmm.
pretty cool. Um, Mean Green Killing Machines, not too bad on the
Mm.
grinding wheel. But for me, this is one where I think they did try to go back to all the different eras of the band. But just for some reason, the songwriting didn't quite as click. So just not as memorable for me. You would think going back to the old stuff I would love, or the old styles at times. But yeah, it didn't quite work for me. And then I guess like Ken, I have the Electric Age. So yeah, for me, that's my good album. Like I think three I love. This is my good, and then the previous two are not the greatest. But yeah, I like some great songs. Come and Get It. Electric
Yeah,
Rattlesnake has become very
that's a
popular
good one.
live.
Yeah.
Drop Their Hammer Down.
Drop the hammer.
Old Wounds, New Scars. There's some great tracks
Yeah.
on this thing. So it's what you want from Overkill. So it's good there. And then number three for me, I mean, you're probably going to guess where our big difference is, or you already have. So number three is Scorched. Um,
Oh, okay.
so where we actually said the grinding wheel and the Wings of War, it was getting kind of samey. I actually think Scorched really stepped it up. I
Same
thought the
here.
songwriting was better. It was classic Overkill, but they took more chances.
Mm.
So it didn't feel like, samey or quite as stale as Wings of
Yeah.
War did. I mean, I love the opening track. You get a song like Wicked Pace is a little bit bluesy. Fever is a bit Black Sabbath type style. Karma Blitz vocals. Won't Be Coming Back, kind of. That's one where I feel some of the old punk roots. And so, yeah, like I like Scorch. I think it's pretty good. And
Hmm.
then where I guess I'm surprised, and hell, we're all different, but I have White Devil Armory as my number two, which could have easily, on certain days, knocked out Ironbound. Like, I don't know,
Wow.
Ken, you may want to give that thing another listen to.
I'll have to do
I
that.
think it's a juggernaut. Like, it's
Mhm.
relentless, it's vicious overkill. The Armorist, Down to the Bone, where there's smoke, it's all yours. Our thrash bangers, and don't even get me started on Another Day to Die. Just fantastic. Like I think it's 50 minutes, but nothing wasted. Like I love this album. Um,
I'll have to give it another spin.
Give it a try just in case
I
you were down. But again, we're
Yeah.
different, right? We may not.
Well, to be honest with you, I never had this week. I didn't have a chance to go back to revisit all the albums,
Yeah.
so I'm going kind of on memory to some
Okay.
degree.
I
So
love this
I,
thing. And like when I
I'll have
look
to
at
give it a spin.
reviews of later era, White Devil Armory is often, and again, these are people's opinions, so it doesn't mean
Yeah,
anything. But
yeah, of
usually,
course.
White Devil Armory and Ironbound are neck and neck as the
Okay.
two best of the later era. But And then Ironbound's my number one, and we already talked about that.
Yeah.
Cool. So mine's a mix of both yours. I've got one way out of sync from yours, Billy. So my number 6 is The Wings of War. Batshit Crazy is a good song. And I like all these albums, but that would be my least favorite. Number 5, I'm sorry, Billy, but it's White Devil Armory 2014.
What the heck?
No, I'm like, Bitter Pill's good on it. Freedom Rings is another good song, but I don't find it up there. But then the Grinding Wheel is going to place a little differently for me. My number 4 is The Electric Age. Drop the Hammer Fall, Old Wounds, New Scars. I mean, these are classic, new old songs, I guess you could say. My number 3 is Scorched, exactly where I think your guys's were pretty much. I mean, I think it could even be a number 2. It was a really good album. I love it. I listen to it at least maybe once a month. I really, really like it. My number 2 is The Grinding Wheel. And I find it's got more of a Priest sound to it. And I like it. I think it's a really cool, The Long Road. The title song's my favorite, The Grinding Wheel, but I love that album. So that's my number 2. And obviously my number 1 is Ironbound. So
okay.
So that's where we're at. So yeah, it's a little bit of different ranking there, but it was kind of cool to rank a partial catalog for a change.
Exactly.
You knock out the old school albums, which would have been our 1s and 2s and 3s. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Horoscope would have been in the top 3 for me, probably even top 2.
Yeah. That goes without saying, Jim.
The Years of Decay and Under the Influence are some of my favorites as well. So
yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up our show, guys. That was pretty fun. Billy, you will be discussing next. What do you got next?
I'm throwing soft sponge balls at my cat, who's trying to knock over all the glasses on the table. She's doing everything she shouldn't be doing.
I know.
And the balls won't hurt her. They're just sponges.
Bill, what are we doing next week?
Yeah, so I'm doing this guy. So we haven't really done a newer modern band, let alone a brand new release. This is a couple weeks old.
Yep.
So we're gonna do Warbringer, their new album, Wrath and Ruin, and then we're gonna rank the Warbringer albums after that.
Good one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wicked. Okay, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for the subscribe, like, tell us what you like, give us some love there. Tell us if you want us to cover any specific albums or bands. We'd love to hear from you. On that note, good night, everybody.
Good night.